Hey guys, so today I am going to be showing you the makeup look that I did. Well, first, I'm obsessed with Coco Jones right now. I don't know if anyone else is listening to her, but I'm obsessed with her. She's so good. Anyway, I'm going to be showing you the makeup look and the bugle bead brow look that I created, but the brows come at the end, so if you do not care for that, then we'll focus on the makeup look until the end, okay? But I am going to be, covering up my brows. I do have a prior video about this, so I'm kind of speeding through this a little bit because it didn't go didn't go so well. I would highly recommend checking out that video. We're doing the classic purple glue stick covering up. I was very impatient, I have to be honest with you. The thing with covering your brows up completely is you have to be patient. You have to do like a lot of layers, and I was just like, no, I didn't have the patience for it today. So I was, busting through, and it showed. It showed. You could still kind of see them underneath. You'll see me go through this process of like really struggling. Maybe I'll put a timestamp if you want to just like skip the brows to the makeup tutorial. But yeah, truly, you gotta go in a bunch of different directions. You gotta take your time with it. And just keep in mind that the purple glue sticks are the best. The white ones, the like little white ones, they're just not good. Or even if it's like a big white one. I don't know what it is, but the white glue sticks just do not do the same thing. You also, what I learned during this process is you wanna be cleaning up in between layers of the glue. So just keep that in mind. I've been loving this Iconic London primer. I have to say, it is so incredibly smoothing, and it does contain a pearl, so it creates like a really beautiful luminescence to the skin without making the skin look at all oily, like not at all. So if you're someone like me who can be oily, highly recommend checking it out. It really does give such like a flawless finish to the skin. Especially if you're going to be, going in with like a skin tint or foundation or something along those lines. I ended up using a foundation today just because I did cover up my brows and I wanted it to be cohesive, but it works beautifully underneath my Lisa Eldridge skin tint as well. Wow, as those brows start to go away, you really like, I'm just like not, can you imagine if I bleached them? Ridiculous. So this is where the layers really become so important. So yeah, I'm using my MAC Studio Fix foundation for specifically covering up the brows, and I believe I used it on the rest of my face as well, just to keep the color cohesive, because MAC Studio Fix, as beautiful as it is, and I love that foundation, it's not the perfect color match for me. It is a little bit of an orangey yellow tone. If you happen to be, coming across this, I did try to go in with the Armani foundation on its own, but it's very, very light. I typically use that shade when I mix it with other things. So I ended up mixing it with the MAC, and it was fine. But yeah, you see how I literally am like, oh my God, my brow, like everything is just like a mess. When I started putting the foundation on, you started to see those like edges of the glue. So you gotta be patient. You gotta remove. If this isn't something that you are at all interested in, then just like ignore this part. But if you are interested in like covering up your brows, I left a lot of this in because I was like, this is probably good for people to see. It takes patience. Remember to remove the glue in between each application, like along the sides of your brows. It's gonna be a lot better. I went through a lot of this, like this that I'm showing you is not all of it. Like I went through a lot of different stages for trying to clean up the glue, and it never really got where I wanted it to be. But that's why you play with makeup, you know what I mean? Like I put bugle beads in my brows. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, foundation. Now going into my contour, I was, this was an artistic makeup look, so I was really clearly throwing on the contour. I wasn't entirely sure when I started. I knew that my goal was to do the bugle beads in my brows. I thought that would just be fun to try. I wasn't entirely sure what the rest of my makeup was going to be. I knew the colors, but I wasn't sure how artistic I was going to get with it. You know what I mean? And then as I was going, I just kind of found where I wanted it to be. But I'm using some new products. For instance, this stick from, I think it's Pure Cosmetics. Really beautiful. I think I talked about it in another video, but it is actually quite a nice color. I thought maybe it would be a little bit too dark, but as you can see, I think it creates like a really natural looking kind of like bronzy glow to the skin without being too orange. I think it's actually quite nice. Okay, obviously color correcting underneath the eyes with my NARS concealer. I have a video coming up soon about how to choose the correct color of concealer for your objective. So hopefully that will be very, very helpful for people. Obviously I am utilizing my, that's Kosas, right? I can't see it from here. Whatever I just showed you. No, is it Kosas? No, it's not. What the hell am I using? Girl, show us. Oh, was it House Labs? I was really just playing. See, this is one of the reasons that like whenever I talk about products, I'll often talk about like different foundations, different concealers. There's a lot of different products that I feel like I can make work for me. I actually did, with the exception of the brows, enjoy this base very much. Like I thought it looked really, really beautiful. And I'm definitely wearing more makeup than I have been recently. This Ube blush is just so gorgeous. Like I really love it. And I was going for lavender. You'll see, obviously, if you're familiar with the look that you've already seen, in other videos, then you know that I went in a lavender direction on the eyes as well. It's very, very beautiful. I don't know if it's still available. I think it was limited edition and it might not be available anymore. So if you were able to get your hands on it, and especially if you have an olive undertone, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So a little bit of, concealing on the lids with my Hindash Canvas fluid. And then I am going in and setting that a little bit with a powder. Setting underneath the eyes. Same powder. Huda. Pound cake. Love it. Okay, this blush, gorgeous, from Tower 28, so pretty. I'm really, really loving these blushes. Like, oh, it's right here. This is in the shade, this one's in the shade Samo Spritz. So pretty. Like, absolutely, just really complimented the Ube powder. I just wanted to like kind of like build it up because again, I'm doing something a little bit more artistic. I wanted to kind of play, dusting it a little bit on my nose and then picking up this bronzer shade from my Etude contour palette. Just to kind of like define the eyes. Again, I didn't go into this knowing exactly what I was going to do on my eyes. So it was just sort of like playing. I felt very Gaga in the American Horror Story, which I've never seen, but I have obviously seen her makeup from the show. So I was kind of following like her placement that Saratano does on her so much, keeping it high up, and then obviously for my lower lash line, kind of the classic Alex lower lash line, and just slowly building that up in the outer corner towards the temples for that lift. Going back in with that blush because pretty, and then I just wanted to kind of bring that into my crease, which obviously in this tutorial I'm doing crazy brows, but if you're just doing regular makeup on yourself, using your blush, using your bronzer, your contour on your eyes as eyeshadow, so like foolproof. The Betty palette from Lisa, no longer available. It was limited edition. However, I believe there are some singles left from the palette. So if you weren't able to get your hands on it, that's just a little shout out. If any of those colors that are still available, like speak to you, you might want to check them out. Such a beautiful palette. Using the lavender all over my eyes. So pretty. Just that shimmer is really, really gorgeous. And you've heard me talk about her eyeshadow palettes a million times, but like the formula is stunning. So beautiful, like so easy to use, user friendly, and it really packs an impact without being like this insane foil, really gorgeous. So I'm taking that all over and then dragging that down onto my lower lash line on the inner corner as well. I have this Patrick Ta palette that I basically never use, but I'm kind of starting to dip into it. So I picked up this like very warm brown. I wanted to complement all of the colors that were going on my face. So I was kind of staying in the like purpley red and orange, I guess, side of the color wheel to create just a soft wing, a little bit of a lift to the eye. Going in and setting up my face now that I have all of my powders and everything fit. Ooh, it spit me right in the face. So rude. So rude. Fixing, and I felt a little powdery, so I wanted to kind of melt it into the skin, you know? And then going in with this Patrick Ta powder. Highlight, I'll be honest, I kind of regretted going in with the powder highlight immediately. Like, I just didn't really feel like I needed it. The rest of the face, I just didn't feel like I needed it. I am going back in and doing his little trick to rehydrate that area, but honestly, I kind of wish I'd just used the balm. But, you know, whatever. You figure it out, you know what I mean? You figure it out. Now I'm going in with one of my pencils. It doesn't matter. I think it's the MAC one. And sketching where I want to put the brows. So I didn't think I wanted to put them exactly over my brow hairs. So I drew them a little bit higher, and I don't know if that was a mistake or not. And I guess I decided to curl my lashes first and then put on mascara. I think I'm using is it the brown one from Lisa? I honestly can't tell. It'll be linked down below. I'll have to double check. But I'm loving that mascara, the burnt umber. The color is just so gorgeous. Honestly, Lisa, I would love for you to bring out waterproof mascara. But I know that this is like meant to be something that, you know, lasts without melting and being gentle. So, you know. Anyway, that's just me rambling. Taking that all over the place. Such a pretty color. I'm going in with this Rare Beauty lip liner. Again, the shade will be linked down below. But, you know, just a soft... I feel like this... this is weird because I'm using Bugle Beads in my eyebrows. But this makeup without the brows, very Easter. Just saying. Very, very pretty color. Kind of just like a nice, simple kind of nude. And again, existing in this color family. Little bit of contouring. Just a little bit of contouring. And then I'm going in with this Lawless lipstick, which you definitely saw if you watched my Help Me Find My Perfect Lipstick video. These formulas are really, really gorgeous, I have to say. This color isn't like my favorite for like every day, but very, very pretty. And then I'm picking up my favorite lip gloss from Lisa Eldridge, Dancing Rose, is that what it's called? So pretty. And I typically focus the gloss like in the center of my lips where it can tend to be a little bit dry. And I don't bring it out to my lip liner so that area can stay just a little bit more matte. All right, beads. Yes, I bought these on Amazon. Just randomly came across them and I was like, I'm doing this. So I'm using lash glue. I can't tell if it's MAC or Duo. I think I'm just using Duo. And I'll be honest with you, it was a struggle. I also picked up new jewel applicator, this like jewel applicator thing that I'm using. I got on Amazon. The other ones I was using before were from the brand Get Stoned, it's so much better. But I was gonna replenish, I think. I was gonna buy a new one and I don't think they had it. So, picking up the Bugle Beads was not so easy. I'm just basically filling in the gaps where I drew with the brow pencil and just kind of playing. At first I was a little bit like nervous about, I want to make them perfectly symmetrical, but let's be real. No one's eyebrows are perfectly symmetrical. So I was like, all right, I'll get them like generally there. And then just kind of like, you know, fill in gaps. And I had some really little tiny guys that I went in and filled in gaps. There were some areas that were not completely filled using the Bugle Beads because they were just like a little too thick. So I ended up grabbing this liner from Make Beauty, which is kind of this like orangey color, and just kind of like, you know, filling it in like it was a pen. And I thought that worked. I thought it was good, you know, like it kind of looked like a color change in the highlight. So this is the finished look, you guys. For everyone who loved it, I appreciate you. For everyone who hated it, no, I didn't shave my eyebrows off. We're all good. I'm just playing. Also, I cut my hair recently. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Happy Easter Sunday, whatever you may be doing. I hope that this gave you some inspo to play. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like and blah, blah, blah. And I will see you in the next one, my guy.